Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about the inner sanctuary, what it is and how to get there. And we'll also do a very short practice to show you how simply and easily we can access this beautiful resource. Hello, Kimberly. Welcome from New Orleans. I've no idea what time of day it is for you there. Welcome, everybody. So, I'm Linda Emsley. I am a practitioner who's worked with women with chronic illness for a number of years now. I live with fibromyalgia myself, so I know some of the challenges that presents. But it's also been a very good teacher for me and shown me the resource that we live in, and that also resides within us. So that's what I'd like to share. And it's 11:31 in, I'm assuming that's New Orleans. So that's a late night for you. So thank you for being awake. So what I wanted to share with you today is one of the first inner resources that I managed to connect with when I was living in what I used to call my mad mum phase of having 4 young children, working full time, and my partner was on night shift. So that meant that I was often in single mum mode, and I know that there are people out there who could relate to that. Anyway, that's part of my story and part of the reason why I ended up with fibromyalgia in the long run. But that's not what I want to talk to you today about. What I want to share with you is the inner sanctuary. And when I talk about the inner sanctuary, what I mean is that beautiful place of calm, quiet, and peace. That place that we experience when we're in meditation and we take the time and the practice to cultivate this feeling within us. And, you know, meditation can take a little bit of practice and a little bit of time to help you achieve that sense of peace and quiet and connection with cosmic consciousness and all the beautiful things that meditation brings. But when you're in the midst of overwhelm, of burnout, fatigue, pain, whatever it is that's going on for you, meditation is often the last thing that you have space to even contemplate. Can anybody relate to that? Oh, and Joanne, you're in bed due to chronic illness. Well, thank you for sharing time with me, and I hope some of this information will be of use to you. So, what I want to talk about is connecting with your heart space. This was the first place of sanctuary for me that I discovered, and it's one of the easiest places I've found to find sanctuary and to connect with. You know, meditation does get you there, but sometimes it can be hard to access. So let's just have a practice right now. I invite you to place your hands over your heart and just allow yourself to really notice the sensation of the hands over the heart. Just notice what just that action alone can do for you. And now I invite you to consciously slow your breathing. Just letting the in-breath become slower and the out-breath to move all the way to the end without force. Just let it leave your body peacefully. Make sure you feel that emptiness before you allow the next in-breath to just come in. And just notice how that makes you feel, this instant connection with the heart space. One of the other things I really love about connecting with the heart space is most of us in the modern world spend a lot of our time up here, right? And when we're living with chronic pain, chronic fatigue, chronic illness, overwhelm, stress, burnout, all of those things, when we are in the midst of the busyness of our life, we live in here constantly, you know, and it's from here down is sometimes way too scary a place to even contemplate visiting because of the way we feel. Who wants to go and sit in here when it's feeling pain, when it's too tired, when it's yucky and everything feels sludgy? You just kind of don't want to go there. But I found the journey from the head to the heart is quite short and it's very direct. It's quite easy to get there. So I hope you've still got your hands over your heart as I'm talking to you with that slow breath and just noticing how that feels for you and what you're noticing in your body as a result. of just consciously connecting with the heart space. So while we're in this beautiful place of connection, I invite you to gently close your eyes. And if that's not a comfortable or safe thing for you to do, gently lower your gaze, soften your focus, and just let the breath become even slower. And as you do this, notice the invitation that your body is extending, asking you to turn gently within. Just notice that, sitting quietly with the breath. And now I'm going to have my eyes open and I'm going to keep talking to you, but I invite you to stay connected with your heart space. Have your eyes closed if that's comfortable, while I just give you a bit more information about why this inner sanctuary of the heart space is so powerful. So we've got 3 layers of connection going on here. 3 layers of access to body wisdom, should we choose that. First of all, the heart space, if you're familiar with chakra theory, is the bridge, right? It's the bridge between the spiritual realm and the physical realm. So this makes it the perfect place for us to connect with, to receive higher wisdom. So we can bring ourselves to stillness, enter this place of sanctuary, leave all our cares and our worries outside the body, just like you're leaving them in another room and shutting the door, and leaving them outside as you turn into the heart space in the body. And when you reach a place of quietness, a stillness will open. And it's in this place of stillness that truth is revealed. And this is what happens when we come into connection with higher wisdom. So the heart is a wonderful place to receive higher wisdom. The next layer or level that the heart makes available to us is it's the conduit for unconditional love. It's the place where unconditional love from universal life force energy, the cosmos, cosmic consciousness, God, the divine, however you would like to define it, can access the human body. Okay, so this is the place of unconditional love. So while you're sitting there with your hands over your heart, whether your eyes are open or closed, I invite you to dive into the pool of unconditional love that is available here by bringing into the heart space memories, feelings of gratitude, appreciation, loving kindness. Even just saying these words quietly to yourself like a mantra, set up that vibration of love, compassion, gratitude, thankfulness. Just really rest in that, soak in the vibration of those concepts as you introduce them into the heart space, and feel how the heart amplifies all of those words, those meanings, those memories, and how that can ripple out through the body. In fact, if you've connected your breath with your heart space, with the out breath you can invite expansion of this vibration through the body. And you can invite the in breath to feed the energy of loving appreciation. So as you breathe in, it breathes in more and more of this energy of loving kindness, appreciation and gratitude. And as you breathe out, it invites that energy to expand through the body so that the whole of the body can experience the lightness, the easiness, the openness of these high vibrational qualities. And this in itself can become a healing practice. This is one way that you can actually support your body through whatever it is that you're dealing with by accessing what the Heart Math Institute calls heart coherence. And that's when we bring the heart into alignment with these beautiful vibrations And because of the nature of neural connection between heart and brain, it then brings the brain into the same resonance, and we're in coherence throughout the body, through heart and mind, body and soul. So this is a beautiful healing practice in and of itself that you can access anytime. You don't even need to have a ritual or a set meditation practice. You can just quietly connect with your heart space for a few breaths at any time during the day, with the intention of eliciting a high vibrational shift in your state. Okay, so, and I invite you to actually start doing that, because the more we practice this, the easier it becomes. But not only that, we lay down the neural foundations as you develop that skill. So you're laying down a new neural pathway for how you want to feel in your body. This is a really powerful tool, can't be underestimated. So I invite you to do that. And of course, whenever you have a chance for longer practice, I invite you to do that too, because what the hey, the more high vibration we can get into the body, the better we feel in the long run. Okay, so that's two of the things I would like to share with you about the heart space. Just checking my notes so I stay on track. Oh yes, I talked about that. Oh, and the other aspect here is you can create an actual sanctuary in your heart. This can be a place. It's almost like building your own secret garden or a temple, if you like, depending on how wonderful your imagination is, that each time you come into connection with your heart space, you can visualize, and I might take you through that now. Visualize yourself sitting in the heart space, acknowledging that the breath is already at a beautiful pace to keep you turned within. A slow, steady breath that invites the heart to expand as you sit in the space in the center of your chest, and just notice that space opening out around you. Just letting that breath really bring the expansive energies of gratitude, appreciation, and feeling the expansiveness in the heart space itself. There are no boundaries, no walls, no limitations. But this space is contained. It's contained within the sanctity of your own body. And for our purposes today, this entire connection is contained within a sphere of white light, surrounded by the protection of the archangels, and filled to the brim with Reiki energy. So you can float here at peace, at ease, in the safety of your own heart space. And it's in this aspect of inner sanctuary that the heart space offers room for sacred conversation. And sacred conversation allows us to communicate with aspects of ourselves, to heal parts of ourselves that come forward, to seek guidance from higher wisdom, and to fine-tune our intuitive knowing. So I invite you to pick a situation, maybe something that you've been chewing over, that you see no clear outcome for. Or perhaps it could be as simple as, what activity will I do tomorrow that will be of most benefit to myself? Just pick something and ask the question in this open, expansive space of your heart sanctuary. Seek the information that you need by asking a simple question quietly to yourself in your own space, and then waiting in quiet stillness for the answer. So the answer may be a feeling, a sensation, a colour or symbol. The answer may be just a feeling of safety, peace, and acceptance. Sometimes we get a clarion call, and other times we get a just knowing, and sometimes we have a sense of I've been heard. Just allow whatever that answer is to come through for you. Take the time, breathe into the space. Stay connected to your breath, and I'll just give you a couple of minutes in your own time and your own breathing to let the fullness of the information you're asking for to drop in. And so just allowing the hands to drop away from the heart space as you get ready to bring your awareness back into the room, into the present moment. And take a deep, refreshing breath and gently blinking the eyes open, giving your hands and toes a bit of a wiggle. And just noticing how that felt, what the experience was like, and what you noticed. Sometimes we get a complete answer, sometimes we are left asking for more, and sometimes it's like, what? So I'm wondering if anybody feels like sharing in the comments what their experience was like. Feel free to do that, and I'll keep moving on, checking my notes, make sure I stay on track. Okay, so how's everybody going at the moment? Are there any questions that have come up with anything that I've shared so far? So far, so good. I love it when there's no questions. I must have said everything that's needed to be said. So what's really important to understand here is our body is a precious vehicle, and we have many conduits and many connection points for accessing wisdom beyond the human intellect. We have different ways of being able to connect with the healing aspect that lies deep within us. Our body has its own innate healing processes, as I'm sure you understand. And then from an energetic perspective, we can enhance some of those healing processes. And spending time in the heart space and generating that sensation of appreciation and gratitude is a very simple practice, but you can't underestimate the power and the potency that that alone has. So I invite you to truly start claiming that as a practice for yourself whenever the outside world starts to get a bit too hard and a bit too demanding, and the overwhelm and the burnout are starting to actually loom large on your horizon. Support yourself with this very easy tool. Okay, it's just one little tool in your toolkit to help you stay on an even keel. So we don't fully understand everything that our body contains, and most of the answers that we're looking for, particularly when we're dealing with chronic illness and some of the symptoms that we have to manage are quite difficult. The answers can actually be found inside the body. So it's very tempting, I know, when particularly if it's a recent diagnosis, to look everywhere. Go searching. There must be an answer. I need this to stop. I want it to be different. I don't like how I'm feeling. It's got to change. I've got to go back to the way I was. There's sometimes that sort of response to a recent diagnosis, whether it's chronic illness or acute illness or something else. But sometimes the best thing we can do is to stop, turn within, and cultivate some patience and compassion for ourselves as we come into a new understanding of what it means to live in this body that is now responding in a way that we don't like, in a way that's completely different to how we have become accustomed in our previous lifetime, right? So I invite you to be patient and compassionate with yourself and to connect with the heart space, because it is quick and easy, and it will give you a different experience of what you're dealing with. It will help shift your perspective. I can't think of anything else that has a faster effect on changing how you feel within what's going on for you than this particular practice. It's one of the things that has been a mainstay for me, particularly in the early days when I just didn't have the patience or the opportunity, because I had to train my kids when I wanted to do meditation. I had to train them. Go away, leave me alone. I just want 5 minutes, leave me alone. So, when you're trying to develop a new habit for yourself, it's hard enough when it's just you're dealing with, but sometimes you've got to train the people around you as well. So this is a good starting point. So I invite you to take that on board. And of course, I'm dealing with, very experienced meditators here today anyway, but think back to when you started your meditation journey. Just think back to what that was like. So yeah, if there are any questions, feel free to just drop them in. Now I've got my eyes open, I can keep an eye on the comments a little bit better. So I just wanted to come into conclusion, because we're getting close to the end of time. And I will try to keep us contained to the 30 minutes, given we're on a weekend. I'm sure you've got some delicious things lined up for the rest of the weekend. So yes, our body is a mysterious place. If we think about it, it's the vessel that has been purpose-built to contain the divine spark that is you, that has been planted in this vessel for this lifetime. It's our mobile classroom, if you like, for our experience of life on earth this time around. As such, it's got some really cool little tools in it that we often overlook or don't even think to look for. So when we are dealing with chronic illness, I've found that the symptoms are actually an invitation for you to go on this deep dive, to have a look at what we're equipped with within the body, to make the change, to not necessarily cure the disease, but to heal from it. And the healing is actually about getting to know yourself really, really well, knowing yourself in truth, and then falling in love with what you find. That's the healing process, is falling in love with what it is that you find. So the human body, the physicality of it is quite incredible. And then of course we've got all the energetic overlays and connections that have us, connected to everything around us, universal life force energy, that web of life from the Chinese medicine perspective, how we are connected to each other and all things. And this is where the mystery really lies. And I'm sure that one day science will have the equipment that is capable of understanding and qualifying and quantifying some of these things that we are taking for granted at the moment. So what else did I want to say? Oh yes, working with your inner sanctuary is just one of the really powerful ways that you can come into partnership with the body to learn what works for you in relation to how you manage your symptoms. And this is something that I spend all my time helping people with, is learning what's going on for them and then finding out how we can work within themselves and their resources to have a better experience with what's going on. Okay, so there are energetic tools, there are physiological tools, there are mental tools, and there are spiritual tools. There's all sorts of things that we have access to because we have been granted this mobile classroom that is actually really well equipped with everything that we need. All right, so that almost brings us to the end for today. This is the last chance for questions. If there are any thoughts or queries or comments that you would like me to address before we do wrap up, I invite you to pop them in the comments. Otherwise, I would like to thank you so much for spending some time with me today on your Saturday. I truly appreciate that. Thank you. I will be doing another talk like this in a couple of weeks' time, going a level deeper into initiating sacred conversation. So today was kind of a bit of a taster, a bit of a teaser. The next talk is going to take us deeper into what we can do in the heart space and in other aspects of the body to actually get the information we need to make the change that we're looking for in the area that I deal with of chronic illness. Okay, so that's on the 27th of September at the same time as this one. So I'd love to see you there if you have time to join me. Also, I have a course coming up about accessing the inner healer, which takes you into a lot more depth. Howard, you've just placed a comment. Oh, very thorough and educative, and you don't have any questions. Oh, well, thank you. That's great. Thank you. So yeah, as I was saying, I have a course coming out. Hopefully it will be published by the end of next week. It's called, I wrote the name down here because I knew I'd forget it. Awakening Your Inner Healer, a Spiritual Path to Wholeness. And that's where I go into a lot more depth into some of the different components that we can work with in the body. So keep an eye out for that. And if you'd like to stay connected, you can join me in my group. It's called Thrive, Transcend Chronic Illness. Until next time, bye now.